Hi everyone, welcome back to Houseplant Essentials. So happy to have you here with me today. In today's video, we'll be talking about a couple different things. First, we'll be talking about soil. Specifically, what mixes do I use in my soil? And second, we're going to do a repot together. Super excited about that, and hope it goes off without a hitch. With that, we'll get right into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is soil. Specifically, what are the things that I use in my soil mix. And basically, I use potting soil mix, I use perlite, and I use an orchid bark mix. And I use these together to provide a well-draining soil mix. Basically, we want to help prevent over and under watering. That's the most important thing that we can help prevent, because those two things are the #1 killer of houseplants. So if we can start with a soil mix, then we'll have a great advantage. So let's get into potting soil. Alright, so the first thing that I like to use in my soil mix is potting soil mix. This is moisture control potting mix from Miracle-Gro. I love this stuff. This actually has things like sphagnum moss and coco coir that help prevent over and under watering. It says right here on the bag that it protects against over and under watering. Yep, and a lot of people give Miracle-Gro some flack, basically. I've heard that it causes fungus gnats, things like that. I've never had any of those problems. In fact, I love this stuff, and I have only used this stuff, this potting soil mix. And I highly recommend it. And this one is the moisture control, which is great. So yeah, that's the first thing that I like to use. Okay, so the second component I use in my potting soil mix is Perlites. This stuff is great because it helps provide better aeration and drainage in the soil. So it's pretty straightforward. Yep, that is the second component that I use. Okay, the third and final component that I use in my soil mix is this Orchid potting mix by Miracle-Gro. This stuff is great. It's chunky. It provides, a chunky component to the soil, which actually helps fast drainage. So this stuff is great, and I'll be showing you how to put all three together. Okay, so now that we've talked about the different components in my soil mix, let's talk about how we mix it all together. So first we need to talk about ratios. So how much of each do I put into the soil mix? So let's start with the moisture control potting mix. This stuff I use 2 parts, and for perlite I also use 2 parts, and last but not least is Orchid bark potting mix. This I use just 1 part. All right, so to do this, I have a little container here that already has some soil mixed up that I've used, but we'll go ahead and mix it up together. All right. Now these ratios I actually got from a good friend named Christina. So Christina, if you're watching, thank you so much. You better be watching, okay? All right, so she also gave me this cool little like work tarp thing that I can use inside so I don't get soil all over the place. And yeah, it's great. Here we go. Next, so let's just let's do it. So let's start with the potting soil mix right here. You can see it. I'm going to take 2 scoops for 2 parts. 1, 2. Now we want to use our perlite. Show you what it looks like. Potting soil mix looks like soil. This is what perlite looks like these little white rocks. So there's 1 scoop. We want 2. We go 2. Hopefully this doesn't overflow. And last is our orchid bark potting mix. And we just want 1 part, so 1 scoop. Oh, this is, yeah, right? Starting to question that for a second. I know my own ratios. There we go, just 1 scoop. And here we have it all in the little plastic container that I showed you. And now we just want to mix it together. Best way to mix it, in my opinion, is with your hands. I love the feeling of potting soil in my fingers. It feels great. It's like kind of like, you know, being out in the garden, and just love that feeling. And so here it is, all mixed together, and yeah, that's about it. We will use this in our repots, and let's get right into that. Okay, so now it's time for our repots. I'm super excited about that. I really love getting my hands down in the plant and feeling their energy, that sort of thing. I hope that doesn't sound weird, but I really do like plants and getting my fingers down in the soil. So I actually have this. This is a really cute little plant. This is a leprechaun aglaonema, and this one I gifted myself in June. Got this at a local nursery and was super excited. I love the coloring on the leaves. It's cool. Aglaonema are great. They can tolerate lower light conditions. You know, preferably they like bright indirect light, but yes, they can tolerate lower light conditions. They don't need to be watered very often. This one's probably about every 2 weeks. And so yeah, this is a super low maintenance plant. If you're looking for something that's really beautiful and low maintenance, this is the one for you. So this is actually a decorative pot around it. And it's still in its original nursery pot. I keep my plants in their nursery pot unless there's some really pressing reason to repot them right away when I get home. I used to do that. I used to repot my plants right away because I wanted them in my like white decorative pots. But I've learned that they don't actually need that. They can sit in their nursery pot, and you can do something like this. You can just have it sit in the pot. But this is getting bigger, and it's time to repot it, not only for the reasons for this, but our own selfish reasons here on this video. So typically when you're repotting, you want to look for a pot that's just 1 inch to 1.5 inches bigger in diameter. So this one is less than 1 inch around the sides. So see if you can see that. See, looks a little bit bigger, but there we go. You can see when it's sitting in the center. Yeah, so that is well within those parameters. I'm excited to do this, so let's get right into it. Okay, so now it's time to do our actual repot. Super excited to get my hands dirty and get right into it. So I have the 2 things that we need. First is the soil that I mixed up. This is our nice, chunky, aerated soil mix. That is great. And second is the pot. And the first thing we want to do is fill up the bottom of the pot with potting soil to about 1/3 of it. So I'm just go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so I've moved myself off camera so I can show you this a little easier. I want to take some scoops and put them in the bottom of the pots so it fills it up about 1/3, maybe less with this one. And I think that is good. You can see right there. Now all we want to do is get the plant and put it in the pot. Okay, so next we take our plant and it's in its nursery pot, and I want to just squeeze it around the sides to loosen it up so we can pull it out. And it's time to pull it out. Hopefully it'll come out. This is the scary part for me. You never know. Okay, you can see that it was a little bit root bound, but not badly. So we're gonna go ahead and stick this in our pot here. And next we wanna just fill up the sides around it. Okay, so as I was saying, we want to fill up the sides around the plant, and fairly easy. Just do it until it's nice and snug. Okay, so now our plant is all potted. I'm super happy about the results. I just filled in around the sides of the plant, and it looks great. One thing to mention is you don't want to fill this all the way up to the top. When you go to water, for example, it needs a little space to move up. Yeah, that was basically what I was taught. So looks great, super happy with the outcome. And next we need to water it. All right, so now we're at the sink, and we just want to give it a nice little soak. Really important that you do this, especially with dry soil. If you're using dry soil while you repot, just give it a nice soak so all the soil is wet. So I'll go ahead and do that. Basically, want to soak it to the point where it comes out the bottom of the drainage holes. So I'm going to just wait for that to happen to know that it's good, or if I need to add a little bit more. Hasn't happened yet. I'll go ahead and add a little bit more. That should be good. We'll wait to find out. It is draining. Yay! So that is good. That's all that we need to do with it in regards to water. So after this, we'll let it drain a little bit to get a little bit more dry, and we'll come back after that. All right, I'm so happy that our repot is now complete. The plant has had a chance to drip dry, which is super important when you're watering, anytime you're watering a plant, but especially with these repots like we did. It looks really good, looks very healthy. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Yeah, I'm very pleased with the way that it has turned out. Alright, that'll be it for today's video. Hope that you enjoyed what you were watching, that you were able to take away some good info on soil, specifically the soil mix that I like to use that provides really good drainage for plants and helps prevent overwatering. I also hope that you enjoyed our repots together. I love potting, repotting plants, getting my hands and my fingers in the soil. It just feels amazing. And these plants, just, I love them so much. Just beautiful things. And yeah, hope that you enjoyed it. Before you leave, don't forget to hit the like button. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button so you get notified of more content when it comes out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.